Seriously, why did the ruler of the universe swallow his own children? It's a completely chilling image, isn't it? We are jumping right into the deep end here, straight into a terrifying cannibalistic mystery. Just imagine it. You possess ultimate, supreme control over all of existence, and instead of using that immense power to create, you use it to devour your own babies the very second they're born. To wrap our heads around this disturbing mystery, we really have to get inside the mind of Cronus, and to do that, we need to first take a look at the victims of this madness.
Just look at these names: Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, Poseidon. I mean, we know these names today as incredibly powerful deities, right? But at this exact moment in our story, they were completely, utterly helpless. Every single time Cronus' heartbroken wife Rhea gave birth, Cronus was just there, waiting, and one by one, they all disappeared into the darkness of his stomach. The sheer horror of this systematic erasure by their own father is just staggering. He wasn't just killing them, he was consuming them, trapping them, making absolutely sure they would never see the light of day.
Sins of the father. So how did we get here? To truly understand Cronus' madness, we first need to flash back and look at exactly where he came from.
Let's trace this all the way back to the very beginning, the origin of the universe itself. Long before the great temples of Greece, long before heroes like Hercules walked the earth, there was just chaos. And the sources don't mean chaos like a messy room, but an endless, mysterious emptiness, just shapeless darkness. Then, out of nowhere, something profound changed. From that emptiness came Gaia, the earth. And she wasn't just living on the earth, she literally was the earth, the mountains, the valleys, the whole shebang. And from Gaia came the very first generation of incredibly powerful beings, the Titans. And right there among them was our ambitious subject for today, Cronus.
But here's the thing. Cronus wasn't born a tyrant. He was born into a universe that was already totally poisoned by fear. According to the sources, his father, Uranus, the god of the sky, feared that one day his own children would overthrow him. Uranus was absolutely terrified of the power his children, the Titans, possessed. And, as it so often does, that fear quickly mutated into unspeakable cruelty. Well, Gaia couldn't just sit back and watch her children suffer under Uranus's oppressive rule. So she did what any fiercely protective mother would do. She orchestrated a full-blown rebellion. She helped her son, Cronus, rise up against his father. Uranus fell, and Cronus seized the ultimate prize. He became the undisputed ruler of the universe.
The paranoia of power. This brings us to the core psychological theme of this explainer: how gaining absolute power almost instantly breeds the absolute fear of losing it. And this brilliantly illustrates that exact tragic cycle. Look at Uranus on one side, the old ruler. He was completely defined by his desperate fear that his children would overthrow him. Now contrast that with Cronus, the liberator, the brand new ruler. What happens to him? He hears a prophecy that his own child will take his throne. The oppressed literally becomes the exact mirror image of the oppressor. It's wild. Cronus inherited the exact same crushing paranoia that drove his father mad.
Let's look a bit closer at the actual trigger for this madness, the prophecy. It was a terrifying prediction that one of Cronus's own children would rise up against him and take the throne. This right here is the catalyst for the horrific baby swallowing we talked about earlier. Cronus was absolutely terrified of this happening. But, and here's the fascinating, deeply relatable human truth hidden inside this wild myth, by trying to prevent the prophecy from coming true, by actively swallowing his babies to keep his throne safe, Cronus literally set in motion the exact events that would cause his downfall. His desperate attempt to avoid his fate is exactly what sealed it.
The rock that fooled Cronus. It was time for Rhea's desperate, secret plan to save her sixth child, Zeus.
You can honestly treat this whole sequence like a mythological heist. Step 1, Rhea secretly gives birth and hides baby Zeus far away in a cave on the island of Crete, surrounded by protectors. Step 2, to keep up the illusion for her paranoid husband, she takes a large stone and wraps it up tightly in swaddling baby clothes. In step 3, she presents this bundled up disguise to Cronus. Now, in his blind panic and greed to just consume any threat to his power, Cronus doesn't even double check. He swallows the heavy stone whole, completely unaware that he's been duped. He thinks his throne is totally safe. Meanwhile, baby Zeus is growing up in secret, getting stronger and stronger every single day.
Clash of the Titans. Eventually, Zeus gained enough strength to challenge his father, knowing full well he couldn't take down the ruler of the universe alone.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the amazing visual reversal we're seeing. Remember these names from the beginning of our explainer?
Zeus confronted Cronus and physically forced him to vomit up the siblings he had swallowed. Out they came, no longer helpless babies but fully grown, powerful gods. Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, Poseidon. The siblings were finally reunited, and together they formed a massive coalition against their father. They were gearing up for a war that would literally shake the foundations of reality itself.
10. That is the massive, almost incomprehensible scale of this conflict. This wasn't some quick weekend skirmish. This was the Titanomachy, an apocalyptic war between the Titans and the Olympians that raged on for 10 long years. To put that into perspective, our sources say the universe itself shook during this decade. Mountains trembled, the heavens thundered, the earth literally cried out under the destructive force of these divine beings clashing. But eventually, Zeus and his siblings pulled it off. They won. They defeated the Titans and imprisoned them deep beneath the world in a terrifying, inescapable realm known as Tartarus.
Dawn of the Olympians. With the Titans banished deep beneath the earth, the universe desperately needed a new ruler to step up and take the throne.
So, the crucial point is how they solved this massive power vacuum without just starting another world-ending war. The three brothers, Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades, actually drew lots to divide up the realms of the universe. It was basically a cosmic game of chance. Zeus drew the sky, officially making him the god of thunder and the supreme ruler up on Mount Olympus. Poseidon drew the vast, untamed sea, and Hades, well, he drew the dark, shadowy underworld. The age of the Titans was definitively over.
Let's move to and see how this builds the foundation for everything that comes next. We are entering the new age. You see, Zeus's victory wasn't the end of the story. Actually, scratch that, it was really just the prologue. The new rulers, these Olympian gods, were incredibly powerful for sure, but they were also deeply, deeply flawed. As our sources explicitly point out, they were jealous, passionate, totally unpredictable, and sometimes incredibly cruel. Just like Cronus, they carried all the messy, turbulent emotions of humanity, but amplified by infinite power. They would fall in love, they'd stab each other in the back, they'd punish humanity, and they would forge mighty